Montreal, Winnipeg, 63-64 on the rotation. We got the Winnipeg Jets, minus 135 at home. Total 5.5, minus 120. We got 1-6 out there, but minus 118 at Heritage. That's the only place with a 6. But again, if you're using SBRodds.com, go to there. You'll see that Heritage has a 6. Open up a book at Heritage. Sportsbook Review will help you with that, and get the 6. Get the better number if you like the under in this hockey game. But if you like the over, it's mostly 5.5 in a lot of other places. Habs and Winnipeg, and I think Andrew McInnes, who's going to have a thought on this game, of course, because it's his Habs involved. But I remember him tweeting the other night, "Are Montreal really going to be an over the total team?" Lately they have been. I mean, even their other night, I mean, Carey Price struggling again, and Claude Julien at the point now where he's saying, "Okay, Carey, it's not all been your fault, but take a breather, relax, sit out this game tonight against Winnipeg. We'll give Al Montoya the start. Maybe it clears the cobwebs out a little bit, gives you a chance to, I don't know, decompress, to, think things over. I don't know what Carey Price is going to do and how he's going to use this time tonight, not playing, to try to right his game. Although, again, it's not all his fault. We know that. That's not a Norris Trophy defense corps in front of Carey Price this season. That's all there is to it with this Montreal team. That's an understatement. But we'll see if and hey, last time Al Montoya was in net, what did we see? Montreal did play better defensively, and they were flying up and down the ice and lighting the lamp ad nauseum and making Erik Karlsson look like a fool. Basically that last time Al Montoya was in net earlier this week when Montreal trounced Ottawa 8-3. So again, all these people that, rush to bet against Montreal with Al Montoya in net, it's not that big of a difference right now based on what we've seen in terms of the results. And, Al Montoya is a capable goalie. Is he a great goalie? No. But, it's one of those situations you got to be careful. If you're just, Price not in there, go against Montreal. It's not always that easy. They proved it against Ottawa the other night. All right, so we've got Dana involved in this game. We've got Andrew involved in this game. Let's go to Andrew. Give him a chance to step up and in, as Gabe Morency would say. Andrew, Habs and Jets tonight.
All right, guys. Well, like you said, I took that under in the game on Thursday and against the Wild, and let's just say it easily just slapped me in the face. Both those two teams just decided to completely screw me over in the first period even. So, look, I got to give Dana Lane, of course, credit for the Minnesota Wild pick as they completely not only just dismantled the Habs, but they made look like they didn't really have any defensemen on the ice at any point in the game. I think this Habs team, goaltending is not even their only problem right now. It's not even just their defensemen. It's about forwards, specifically centermen, getting back, trying to move players in front of the net. I mean, all these goals that they're getting scored against them, guys, they're not really, these beautiful slappers from the point or one-timers from the wing. They're not really like that. They're all just kind of tap-ins from around the net and just simply the Habs getting outworked. And that's what really has to piss you off as someone that's either looking to back an under or a Habs fan like myself, and that's something that really makes you mad. But look, I'm really thinking that at this point, Carey Price talking about now he's got his injury. They got Al Montoya in nets. I'm not a fan of this decor. They haven't proven anything to me in the past couple of games. I have cashed a couple overs with the Habs, but coming into this game, look, I've been saying this about Winnipeg the entire season. They beat Dallas 5-2, covering the over in the last game. Of course, the Habs coming off their 6-3 loss to the Minnesota Wild, where the Habs actually outshot, and I believe they won 63% of the faceoffs. So they're kind of in games, and they're getting the shots. But I think coming to this game, there's no choice for me but to take the over on it. It's going to be an official play for me. Until this Habs team can prove to me what they can really do, it's just it's too much for me right now. This Winnipeg team has too much star power. Their chemistry is pretty much on point right now, and we're still only very, very early into the season. They're impressing me on all cylinders, and I think that if the Habs are going to have to keep up with this team, it's going to have to be a high-scoring affair. And like you mentioned, Ian, it's one of those funny things where when Montoya was in nets last time, it seemed like they had no problem putting up some goals. So we'll see what the Habs can do tonight. You never really know what you're going to get out of them, but at the same time, I've been impressed with this Winnipeg team.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a mindset. Maybe it is psychologically. Hey, we've got to really pepper shots on net. We got to do all we can to put goals and bunches in net. with Al Montoya in net as opposed to Carey Price. Maybe that's a mentality that creeps into Montreal when he's in net, perhaps. I mean, they just feel he's the backup. We got to try to give him more support. And they gave him more than enough support, at least Monday night when they played the Ottawa Senators. I mean, 8 goals, that's giving your goaltender support, I would say. Dana, Montreal, Winnipeg, he's involved as well in this hockey game. Dana, in the peg, what you looking at in this one?
Yeah, I agree with Andrew. I mean, I wish sometimes, and you know how big of a guy I am on the philosophy of wagering. I really would love to see what the room looks like in Montreal right now because, you know, let's be honest. I mean, the report came out yesterday that Carey Price was out because he tweaked a few things or had a lower body injury. And then there was a report that almost washed that one down and said that, you know, that was not true, but that was Montreal's way of kind of saying we need to sit you down. I don't know. I honestly don't know what you do by what you accomplish by saying, you know, one thing because you want to do another. You just do what you know, no other team in this league handles injuries the way that the Montreal Canadiens handles injuries. We saw this last year with Carey Price. We saw it the year before with Carey Price. Last year with his flu bug, and then the year before with his groin injury. And it's just so strange the way that they handle things sometimes. And so I don't know. I think of handling or the mentality has to create some sort of a weird culture or dynamic in Montreal. And I know not even, you know, I'm not a fan of them. In fact, I'm kind of the complete opposite. I know that that's the feeling that every time I kind of dive into this organization that I get with them. And now tonight that they're playing a Winnipeg Jets team that looks like that they're firing away, as Andrew would say, on all cylinders. I mean, Patrick Laine, as we said the other day, we thought that was a good spot for him to kind of get off the schneid, which he did. And Scheifele and Wheeler have been playing extremely well. This is a team that comes out firing in the first period. So their first periods have been fantastic. In fact, that they've outscored their opponents this year 20-9 in the first period. So there's no reason to believe that Winnipeg is not smelling a little bit of blood with this. And the other thing too is I think a lot of people overlook is when you're handicapping games. You know, let's also remember that if the starter gets pulled or there's an injury, let's also handicap who the backup is. And I know it's not likely that the backup plays a little bit, but in this situation where I have a guy like Charlie Lindgren that's just got pulled up from the AHL to back up Montoya tonight, I mean, if Montreal doesn't play well or Montoya specifically doesn't play well, now you got an AHL goaltender in there. So you tell me whether or not, you know, you feel good with Montoya or an AHL goaltender whose numbers have, you know, neither one of their numbers have been very good at Montoya at the NHL level and the AHL level. So you also have to kind of take into account. As we said, you know, Winnipeg has won 3 straight games. 4 of the 5 games in the last 5 games in Winnipeg have gone over the total. And the last 2 Montreal Canadian games averaged 10 goals. So why would we not look at the over on this, especially when, you know, Winnipeg superstars, especially Scheifele. I mean, Scheifele had a hat trick the other night. So yeah, I think they're starting to really hit their peak, and there is no reason to take anything else but the over in this game. I just think that their big guns are starting to play really well against a goaltender that you really have to sit there and cross your fingers that he's going to play well.
Yeah, and to be specific about Lindgren, who's going to back up Montoya tonight, you know, 3.53 goals against, 885 save percentage in the AHL. That's not good. That is not good. And that's AHL numbers, not NHL numbers.
Yeah,
so
I mean, the reason why I put it the way I put it, yeah, those numbers are not very good, but there is a complete, you can even do a cross sport promotion on this. I mean, in baseball, how many times does somebody come up from AAA or from AA and have a fantastic, you know, great start because there's no book on them, or maybe just mentally they're in a much better spot. I mean, we saw it in Vegas. You know, as much as we want to talk about how, you know, the goaltending position in Las Vegas is depleted, which it currently is. But, you know, let's be honest now. The flip side of that, if we're looking for positives, we have had 4 goaltenders here that have allowed 2 goals or less, and that's pretty impressive. I mean, it's the results on this road trip certainly haven't been what Vegas have wanted, but you know, when you step back and look at what Fleury has done and what Oscar Dansk has done and what Legacy had done did the other night against Boston, and PK Subban came in and played well. There was 4 goaltenders that allowed 2 goals or less, and basically 3 of those have had 0 National Hockey League experience.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could have a situation where you could have a guy like you could have an Oscar Dansk situation, comes in, pulls a surprise, and ends up playing well. But again, we're talking about a lot of ifs, and in terms of Lindgren, again, you're gonna have to have Montoya injured tonight at some point to see him. But again,
Yes.
Never say never in a situation like this, because
Well,
the Vegas Golden Knights know all too well about how a goaltending injury can strike at any given time.
Ifs equal over. You know what I'm saying?
That's
if this
right.
happens, if that happens, if this happens, then we'll be good. Well,
Yeah.
let's deal in reality and what we know. And what we know right now is Winnipeg is absolutely on fire offensively, and it's a toss-up and a finger cross what we're going to get with Montreal defensively. And we've also seen as of late that Montreal can put up some goals as well, so there's no reason to take the under.
Yeah, they're 3 or more goals, Montreal, in their last 3 games. 3 or more goals in 4 of their last 5 games scored for the Habs. So, and again, 8-1 to the over, Montreal, their last 9 games overall. So you talk about a team that has trended over the total. That has been Montreal, 8-1 to the over in their last 9 games. So again, something that's flying under the radar, and you're still seeing 5.5s with totals on them for pretty much in this game. Yeah, you pay a little juice, -120, but still, to get a 5.5, it's absolutely worth it. So over for Andrew, over for Dana in the Hab Jet game tonight.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.